You're tuned in to Season 3 of the Bird Joy Podcast, hosted by Dexter Patterson and Jason Hall. This podcast is for all the homies across the globe, a place to celebrate birds, community, and joy together. We're back with more stories from the birding world, more voices doing dope work in STEM, and more reasons to get outside and enjoy the birds. Are you ready for some bird joy? Let's go.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Bird Joy Podcast, where we celebrate the joy of birds, nature, STEM, and people changing the world one feathered friend at a time. I'm Dexter Patterson.
And I'm Jason Hall. And today we are wrapping up another unforgettable season, Season 3. Man, homie, it's been a journey.
I know I was fake crying there, but I kind of want to cry for real. But we've shared some powerful conversations. We've laughed a lot. We've learned even more, and we've connected folks doing the real work, bro, to build more inclusive and joyful spaces in the outdoors. And I couldn't be prouder.
Yeah, man. It was really a very diverse season. You know, we talked about vultures and legacy. We talked about native plants and poetry. The next generation of STEM leaders is our first episode with young folks on there. And I think this just gave a nice comprehensive picture on like how birding and nature really brings people from all walks of life together, you know?
Every week we talk, like, even after we interview our guests, like, we'll jump on a quick call. It could be like 2 minutes, and we're like, dude, that was amazing. That was so good. And it seemed like every week it felt like, man, this is the best one ever. This is the best thing ever. This is the best one ever. This season, as I was looking back on it and reflecting on it, as we're recapping Season 3, man, it just, like I said, I couldn't be prouder. I couldn't be more thankful for all the people that joined us. And honestly, hopefully we can continue that late fall when we come back for Season 4. Yeah,
certainly. We'll get a little bit of a break here. And you and I are both super busy, right? As we explained on Chris's episode, the last episode, right? Like this stuff takes a lot of work, and we got a lot of stuff going on, and it's good to, you know, I think when we take the time off, so folks know, like, we still talk. Like, you and I still we share things of guests that we want to have. We share ideas. Like, so it's not like we just go our separate ways for a couple months. Like, we really are kind of marinating in listening to old episodes. What can we do different? And hopefully interacting with you all a lot. So yeah, it'll be a nice break, but you know, I think it is good for us to maybe talk about some of the things we did this season, you know?
Yeah, we did a lot. And we kicked it all off, bro, with Dr. J. Drew Lanham. What a way to open the season. I mean, I know even when we first started the podcast, I remember you talking about Drew being like the guy that you know, I hope we could talk to him someday. And we were able to kick off this season with Dr. J. Drew Lanham. How'd that feel, my guy?
Man, thank you. Like, that was a great way to get it going, because it was it's wild to think this, but it was the beginning of the year. A lot of stuff was going on in this country, and having Drew kind of spend an hour with us navigating through feelings and bird joy and justice. And, you know, his latest book, Joy is the Justice We Give Ourselves, right? A collection of poetry and stories, right? It really, you know, was a good way to kind of get people back into the fold, to say, hey, you know, we're still here, and we still have opportunity to come together as a community and not let go of any of that joy, right? But use it as a tool to navigate some of the times ahead. So yeah, man, that was just really, really great way to start the season, you know?
It kind of set the tone. And then even when we were with the kids down there, bro, in Ohio, you talked about that. You talked about that experience with those kids. You really, like, you literally was talking about how he was talking about how we need prophets and poets. Yeah. And like that poetry, I found myself, even before we were interviewing him outside of the books and stuff, when he posts those random poems, like they just move you. And sometimes I feel like they show up right on time, don't they?
Yeah.
Just like,
they do.
Pop up in your feed and you're like, thank you, Drew.
Well, I mean, it's great because, you and I both, we have to navigate the news cycle, and there's stuff going on in different places. And sometimes that's the same stuff that he's writing a poem about. And it really, I mean, like I said on the episode, I feel like I should send him a check. Right. From my mental health therapist. Right? Like, because like the way he explains how he's feeling and how a lot of us relate to that, but he still does it in this way that just puts the words together in a space that lifts you up. Like it's not, he never posts anything that makes me feel worse about myself or about our situation. It's always let's chew on this. Let's do this together. Let's find joy. And by the time this episode comes out, right, I encourage folks to definitely give Dr. J. Drew Lanham a follow on Instagram because he found some puppies and it has been
the puppy
life.
Content.
It's been giving life. We might have to have him back on just to talk about these puppies. So
yeah, so cool. And it's so great. Like we start with somebody, I mean, many can say, a legend, kind of in the space, like, and then we kind of shifted and went to
Shane,
like the next generation, right? Yeah. With Shane and the Wild Dryad. That was crazy, bro.
Yeah, like that. I thoroughly enjoy that young man so much. I feel like he just wonder is the word, right? He just is filled with wonder. What was he cooking? He was making something in the kitchen the other day, and it made me laugh because I was thinking about that part of the episode where he was talking about when he tried to make the food, like poisoned everybody in his family. And I'm like, you better be careful.
Took his mom down. And
stuff. Like he was in there making something, persimmon something, I think, which I think is a little less dangerous than what he was working with before. Yeah. Just knowing some of his background after that episode and being able to engage and show people, I think that was one of our first guests that really wasn't a bird person, so to speak, like really finding that joy outside of birding, and so I thought that was a great first foray for us to bring him, of all people, to kind of come and show people like, hey, birds are out there, but guess what else is out there?
Yeah, that was something that we talked about after season 2, where we're like, we both work in STEM field and like we know all these amazing people that are doing work in relation to not only STEM, but the outdoors or nature that isn't bird related, but it was like, it's all connected, and I think Shane was the perfect person for us to kind of like you said, to be that first person to break the cycle of like, this isn't a birder, but we need to learn from this person. And I love what I loved about him being an educator myself. He's an educator, bro. Like, in non-traditional in a sense. And we kind of talked about this with him of like, you don't need to have 3 degrees on the wall and you don't need to be a doctor to talk about some of these things. Sure. You don't need to be this traditional expert, right? Because his life experiences, and I think that's what I loved about Shane, was it's the life experiences. He encompasses that curiosity, that childhood wonder that we've talked about the last couple episodes of this season. He really kind of embodies that in a young adult. And I think that was just, I just thinking about him now, I'm smiling because like all he does, bro, is bring joy. And he educates people on so many different levels. And I think he shows that nature education in a whole takes a lot of different forms.
Sure does. And Shane, like a number of our guests are, Shane is, I'll say, significantly younger than you and I. And so that makes me so happy because I'm just like, these young folks are incredible. And I feel so privileged and honored and blessed to say that maybe we can watch them do their thing for the next 2 or 3 decades. That part gives me goosebumps because it's like you and I think about this a lot with our bird clubs and stuff, and just like, all right, we're trying to do this thing, but where's it going after that? What's the community look like? And then you meet people like Shane, and you're like, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, we're gonna be all right. And we talked about this last week with Chris Kilgore about the importance of mentors. And when I think about these young people, when they talk to us, they kind of talk to us like, oh, I really like look up to what y'all do as well. So whether we realize it or not, we are mentors to the younger generation. And I think it's important. And we talked about this last week with Chris, as being that person. You can be that one person that, as he put it, bro, bro, like pushing people up, you know, when you get to a certain level, bring people with you, but also empower that next generation. And I think we saw that with Shane, but also Kojo, right? When we think about these young next leaders, man, like, you know, we go from Shane and we're bringing on Kojo, and he's talking about vultures, and literally, bro, have you ever talked to somebody that oozes more bird joy than Kojo? Like, seriously.
No. And the kid is, you can tell his emotions and his brain are moving through so much joy in such little time. Like he is just like he's just emanating it, you know?
Yeah.
And if for somehow you came to this episode and you have not listened to any other episodes yet, go back and listen to Kojo's episode, right? Because you will not look at vultures the same. You will not look at bird joy the same, right? Like he's just doing some incredible stuff, and he's one representation of that kind of diversity of thought out there, the diversity of minds in the younger community, right? And you know, I imagine when I think about some of those students in Toledo, right? Like some of them may be the next Kojo, they may be the next Shane. You know, they may be the next whoever they are, right?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause they had some incredible answers. And like, that's another group of kids that I'm just like, man, you sometimes wish you could be everywhere all at once just to witness it, because just witnessing the beauty and the greatness of nature as these young folks explore it is a treat in itself.
Yeah. And that was another thing that we talked about, is like, how can we use this podcast to reach more younger people, that next generation, whether it's bringing on people that may look and sound more like them, like Shane and Kojo, like in the way they create their content, like they get these platforms, their content is incredible. But we also talked about how we wanted to start meeting them where they are. And I think when we were able to go to that school, bro, like I was I mean, if people don't know by now, I'm kind of an emotional guy. We're both big babies though. Like we're both like, why? But like I was literally like in that classroom with them as an educator, as a father, as a science communicator. I was just like, I was blown away at like, these kids had visions. They had amazing answers, and all I could do was just like, I wanted them all to not only feel seen, like we seen every single one of those kids, even the ones that didn't want to talk right away. Some of them eventually we got them out the shell. Even some of the ones that didn't talk all day, and then all of a sudden at the end they start cracking jokes on us, like the crane. You remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, they felt seen, they felt heard, and that was really important. And I wanted them to feel special. I wanted them to realize, like, yeah, we are really listening to you. Like, we really do value what you have to say. And I hope, and I'm very, very thankful that this podcast has really kind of open up some doors for us and some opportunities. Hopefully we get to do more of that, more of getting to go meet some students and talking to students and going on a road together and stuff. So who knows, man? Like it was one of those moments I'll never forget, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. And just after that, right after we interviewed those students, we had kind of a series of episodes just celebrating some amazing Black women before, during, and after Black Birders Week, right? And these are, Karina Newsom, Cole Jackson, Danielle Bellany, right? Each of them brought a different light, a different flavor to not only birding and bird joy, but just kind of the advocacy and I don't know how to describe it, maybe the letting folks know it's okay to wrap your fight into your joy, right? It's okay to say like, hey, I care about this. It makes me happy. And I'm going to contextualize it with everything else that's happening in the world. And I'm still going to fight. I'm still going to fight with love in my heart. And I think all three of them represent that and coming from different spaces. So like that was just an incredible series of episodes. I thought that was really well placed and well timed. And all three of them, as all of our guests go, like I literally just want to jump up and run outside and go birding, as soon as I talk to all three of them. So like that part was amazing.
Yeah. And I think too, as us as Black men in the STEM field, we see this over and over where Black women in STEM have to work like 10 times harder than everybody, including ourselves. And
that's right.
The fact that they have to deal with all that and they still bring so much joy is something that makes me emotional. as a father of all girls, makes me upset. It motivates me to try to be a part of the change wherever I can. Those episodes and being able to interview those incredible Black women is something I'll cherish. I'll cherish those friendships that we've been able to make because they're all incredible. And then we're literally the conversations. Yes, the through line with Black Birders Week, but then we're talking about burden in cemeteries. We're talking about community science and conservation and justice and healing through childhood trauma. And it ran the gamut of so many different things and really kind of just reminded me that nature is everywhere and it belongs to everybody. Yeah,
it certainly does. And leave it to Black women to explain that so well and carry that torch so well, as they do for just about everything else that we need to work through in this country. And I think folks need to know, there's more out there. There are other guests that we're going to try to get on this show that carry a similar level of joy, learning, justice, drive, right? Just so many amazing women out there that I wish we could have 30 episodes a season, but your boys got to work. We got to put food on the table. So,
that's the beauty. We got, just like birding, like we always say, we always got something that we can look forward to.
That's right.
And that's the beauty of this community is there are so many amazing guests that we have yet to talk to that we cannot wait to get on this program and share their knowledge with everybody. So trust me, that's part of what we do in the off season is we're trying to, connect with different people. And we know a lot of these amazing human beings, their schedules are extremely busy as well.
That's right.
Not just ours. So just know we always in the lab cooking. And we going to have something I can't even imagine. Boy, we going to be cooking on season 4. Y'all thought this one was a banger. Wait till season 4.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bro, then we reach out, we're reaching the next generation. We're talking to all these amazing Black women. And then we had the honor of going to the OG, Dudley Edmondson, bro. And the legend, and being able to talk to Dudley, who dropped Black and brown faces in America's Wild Places at a time, like you said, bro, during the episode, he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
He was ahead of his time. Like when you think about thought leaders, when you think about change agents, is there one bigger than Dudley?
I'm not sure. Not in this space, at least. And it's funny because when I met Dudley at the Black Birders Retreat back in the day, he told me about the book and he wanted to write it, and I'm honored that I'm featured in the book. And so is Chris, who was just on the last episode. So is Nicole Jackson and Karina Newsom and a number of our guests. Right?
We need to go ahead and just say we want to interview everybody in Dudley's book.
We're gonna have to start sending Dudley royalty checks or something but it's because the book is packed full of so many amazing people, and Dudley himself, I think you and I sitting and talking with him was more like he definitely was ahead of his time. And I think in some cases, well, not in some cases, he's very humble about it, but I think he knows and we know. And to see both of his books picking up traction now is really great because you can tell it's needed and society had to catch up. But now they have these two options, right? And I certainly encourage folks to look up in any books authored by Dudley Edmondson and go and check those out because it provides me kind of a clean space to say, who else is out there? And what are they doing? And what have they gone through? Right. And I know if I can find relation to some of them, other people can. And you can probably find your own story, right? In terms of this person may have gone through something similar.
Right.
And look how they came through it. And I'm going through something like that now, or I did go through something like that. And the goal is not to be in a book. The goal is to say, what's my journey? What kind of journey am I on? And do I know that I don't have to stop? But I can kind of go wherever I want to go within this natural world. So Dudley was a really special episode, man.
And that your story matters. That was another thing that I got.
Yeah.
It's all these stories, all these amazing people. I was, going back to the conversations we had with Karina and Nicole and Danielle, all different stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Completely, all of them. And every story in Dudley's book, all different stories, but there are through lines, and a lot of that connects back to the joy and finding joy, even sometimes in difficult circumstances. So your story matters, folks. It really does.
Mm-hmm. It sure does. It sure does. And we didn't just stick to, our homies here that, can provide us some perspective on North America and the United States. We kind of went a little global. We went and we talked with...
Say that again. Say that again.
We went a little global.
Oh, I like how that sounds.
We went and we talked with Dr. Miyoko Chu, Cornell Lab Ornithology. We talked with George Armstead, who also has a PhD, I believe, but he never tells anybody about it.
Oh, see, he's so humble, bro. It's like, I love it. Like,
yeah. And both of them are impacting the globe. Dr. Chu as one of the key contributors and designers of the Merlin app and being on that team, to George taking people all around the globe to experience bird joy and adventures. Both of those episodes were, I think, packed with a lot of, I don't know what the word is to call it. If you could take bird joy and turn it into a palette of colors, like it was just a rainbow. Like we were talking about different bird species and different experiences and what the driving force is from both of those folks to do what they do. And both of them make me very excited. And I hope I was doing the same for others.
You mentioned the word global, but what was so cool is both of them doing work that is impacting people all over the globe. But both conversations came back to how birding is local, right? But also limitless. So like Dr. Chu, Miyoko talking about how people can target a radius 17 miles around them and getting very hyper specific and local with it. And George, this guy that's been on all 7 continents, talking about we need to slow down and enjoy the downy woodpecker or the common yellow-throat warbler around us, bro. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it now. That is it. Like, that is it. Those conversations reminded us how not only tech and travel can bridge people to birds, but also each other in our local communities, man. It was just so much learning, so many, my mind, like I always tell people at some of at the talks I give, how birding makes me that emoji where your head blows up all the time.
That's right.
That's what those two did to me, man. Like, talking to them, I'm just like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, this is so cool. So,
yeah, man. It was a good one. Then we were able to roll the season through with Christopher Kilgore, your homie out there in Wisconsin. Yeah. And I had the pleasure of meeting him, and you were able to kind of get him to come on the podcast, and that was really special. Like, to go from meeting him to a month later being able to interview him.
And that was kind of part of like where we said, all right, let's open this thing up a little bit. As we're thinking about how we want to wrap this thing up, nobody kind of embodies like stewardship and equity and belonging more than Chris. He's doing everything. And like I always say, I'm always learning something new about the guy every time I talk to him. And I'm just like, he's a great mentor. He is an amazing community member. He's all about serving the audience, meeting every single person he can where they are. And he's just a special dude, man. He's just a special dude.
He is. And I felt like that going from the beginning of the season, talking about where we're headed and what was going on and finding joy in nature and rolling through all these different guests, and then getting to a space where Chris is kind of wrapping it into this place of, this is your thing. This is that burning ember in your chest that is helping you go out there and make a difference. And he didn't cut any corners, right? He said very clearly exactly what it was that drove him, and the smiles. And if he gets a little bit of sleep, that's cool, because he knows he about to dole out some smiles the next day. He's about to help people find some joy. And I loved hearing the stories from the two of you about some of the community members that are maybe hesitant of coming out, and then they're out, and then they're bringing their kids and their family back, and then homies just showing up to the property to find some peace, peace of mind. At the 92 acres. And like, Chris was great because he showed us that, like, if you put your mind to it, if you're consistent with it, right, your process will be worthwhile, right? And his heart and mission are absolutely undeniable on that front.
Yeah, it's so many memories, so many experiences, those messages that we continue to get on the Instagram that you share. I remember you sharing one with me that really stood out, the homie Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
And in her classroom, out there in Philly. And this was before I actually was able to come out and give a talk at the Academy of Natural Sciences out there. But her little kiddos, man, like, made us little cards, and like, she gave me one of them when I came out there, and I'm, again, emotional. But it's stuff like that. And we talked about us going to biggest this week. I also met some little kids out there, bro, and they had these birding trading cards.
Oh, nice.
They gave me one. That's the osprey, and the other is the yellow-headed blackbird.
Top two. Look at that.
Top two. So what does that tell you, right? Like these were little kids. Remember, this was when we went on that final walk together.
Yeah, they had the table up. Yeah.
Yeah, and these little homies gave me these. And that tells me something, that they're listening. They're listening, and what we're saying is making an impact on them, and our listeners are making an impact on us as well.
They sure are. And we get really nice messages, and we certainly encourage folks to send those, right? We get stories from people. If you're taking pictures of birds or sharing stories, like tag us in them, right? We would love to share the bird joy, but just, being able to see occasionally some reviews on the podcast, right, really helps lift us up. People are saying things like, birders of all levels, do not miss this show. Truly great for the soul. Right. That's from Cranberry 123. Right. Someone else said, Erica in Ohio.
All levels.
Yeah. And that's really what we're trying to get to. Erica in Ohio said, you can't help but get hype when you listen to the excitement and support. I love it here. Thank you for existing. Black Joy Matters.
I love it here, and I love you too. This is amazing.
Like, all of this is absolutely incredible. And we hope we can continue, to share some of these stories and some of these reviews with folks, because we're here just to do that. As folks have probably surmised, like Dexter and I have other full-time jobs, and we're working and supporting families. And so this is as much for you all as it is for anybody else, right? It's not really for us. We're not making millions of dollars over here doing a birding podcast.
Not a buck. Not a nan nuther, right? As Day would say.
So the thing that feeds us a lot is these reviews, these messages, these stories that you all are feeling comfortable enough to share with us. I always think about our homie Cole. We probably talk about him every season. He tags
on his
us
bike right now,
he
listening.
goes for his walks on his bike. And the same thing with last season. He brings us with him. And that is part of the thing that I look forward to hearing about after every episode or every season is, I wonder what Cole thought about this one. And I want to hear that from more of you all, for sure.
Yeah, he just said last episode, fire, keep them coming, and I'm just like, we got a couple more for you, brother, this season. I just want to encourage everybody, if you've just found us, go back and listen to previous episodes. The stuff that we talk about is not dated, right? We may be talking about specific birds, we may be seeing it at that time, but the structure of all these episodes they're evergreen, they're pretty much timeless, where you can go back all the way to season 1. You can even see our growth as hosts and how the show has evolved over time, but the content is evergreen, and you can go back to it and listen to it and share it and bring more people in. And we encourage you to do that as we prepare and wait for what is next in season 4, which is going to be fire, bro. It's going to be fire.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to season 4. There's obviously, like we said, a number of guests that we didn't, we weren't able to get to this season, and we're going to get the slots open for next season. There's some other really incredible stories out there, some incredible folks, some people you and I have met, some people you and I have not met. So I look forward to getting those going. I look forward to more rapid fire questions, because those seem to be my favorite, and sneak peek for folks before we end today. I got some rapid fire questions for Dexter that I'm not going to let him get off the podcast.
See, I've been putting everybody else on the hot seat.
Let's see how he likes the taste of it.
You see this? Like, look at it. See? Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's see what we got.
All right. You ready? You want some? You want some now? Okay. Let's see. All right. So we're going to take a little break here for a couple months, right? And do some different things. What bird is the number one on your list to see over the next couple months, late summer into the fall?
Oh, late summer into the fall. Migrating shorebirds should be coming through. I hope I see my first piping plover.
Ooh, that's a good one. Those homies are the best. All right. If you could pick one snack food to have during a fall birding adventure, what would it be?
A fall birding adventure. Give me an apple cider donut and some hot apple cider.
Now I'm hungry. That sounds amazing. I'm done with summer. Let's go. What is the one thing you're looking forward to this fall that you can only do in the fall that fills your cup, fills your heart up?
That I can only do in the fall, I will have to say jump around at Camp Randall for a Badger football game.
Oh, okay. All right. You're going outside of it. All right. Well, let's see how my homies at Penn State feel about that, but we'll see. If you could choose a dream guest through all annals of history, alive or deceased, to come talk with us on the Birdjoy podcast, who would that be?
Wow. You know what? I would love to talk to my grandmother. My grandma Ether, who was born in a barn in Mississippi. And I would love to just talk to her about growing up in the country, because like me and my dad now be talking about all his little stories, and I would love to see what grandma could tell me.
Oh, that's incredible, man. I love that. I would love to interview Graham. All right. If you could attend one bird festival next year for the first time, which one would it be?
Which one? I haven't.
So I'll give you some options. You got San Diego, you got Rio Grande, you got the homies, the Black Belt Birding Festival down south in Alabama. Yep. You got the homies in Arkansas with the cranes. You got Space Coast down in Florida. You got Cape May Bird Festival. I think there's the one up in Acadia somewhere.
Honestly, I think it got to be Rio Grande.
Rio Grande? Yeah, that's what I hear. I
haven't done a ton of birding down there. I've been to Arizona once, and I went birding one time, and I was like,
so that whole southeast section.
That whole area, I just have a feeling like no matter where you go, it's just going to kind of be mind blowing. So if I had to pick one, it would be the Rio Grande.
All right. Last one. And you got to speak this into the universe. Okay.
All right.
What is your dream birding camera setup?
The one I had at Biggest Week in American Birding from Sony, bro. What's so crazy, I think it was the A1, whatever that new one is, and it was the 800 millimeter joint.
That thing was wild, man. The zoom on that thing was incredible.
It was crazy,
and it was like lighter than I thought it was going to be too. It was really nice. Yeah. All right. Well, you survived the rapid fire. Sorry to throw that. This was unscripted, folks. I didn't tell Dexter I was going to do this.
Now I see why it's so like amazing. Like rapid fire. Like now I see. Now you put me in the shoes of our guests, and now I appreciate it even more. Next, it is definitely not going away. Rapid fire.
That's right.
Going away.
That's right, man. That's right. So what are you thinking for season 4, man? What do you think we're going to get into?
We're just going to keep on building on this. I think more about burden and mental health. I think that's really important. I would love to get on some indigenous folks and really start to be able to share more indigenous bird knowledge and more youth voices. I think just diving in with Shane, Kojo, and those kids from the Chase STEM Academy. I think I want more youth voices as well. And I honestly hope this in season 4 we can start to really incorporate stories from the homies. We got to set up a way where people can share voice messages with us, maybe even have on like some newbie birders, that are some of our listeners. I think that would be a really cool perspective to have as well.
Yeah, I like that as well. Like just we've interviewed folks this season that are participate in other forms of media, right? Other podcast shows, things like that, right? And some other ones that are out there in the universe. Like I do enjoy hearing from some newbie birders, right? And I would like to hear newbie birders that are listeners to our podcast. How do they navigate the world, finding their own bird? Maybe we can call it finding your own bird joy, and have people, talk about that. So, we also encourage folks, send in your own topics or ideas that you think, we would be good to talk about, and I think people do send us folks to our socials, and it's nice because we can just immediately follow. And Dexter and I have a little group chat where we share like potential guests and who's going to reach out and, all this fun stuff. And it's really, I think sometimes it's hard for us not to start the next season immediately because we see these folks and we're like, oh man, I want to talk to them.
I want to talk to them right now.
Yeah. And so, but just being able to interact with them and you folks out there in the community that are putting us on to these people, because it's not like we can trust the social media algorithms all the time to connect us with the right folks. So we really depend on you all a lot to let us know what's going on.
Yeah. And we listen, like we care about what you all think. So if your message messaging us topics, like just know, like we'll talk about that. Like we'll be like, what do you think? Well, who can we talk to about this? How can we make this happen? Like that's how those conversations go. Like literally.
That's right. That's right.
Literally. Yeah. So.
All right, homie. Well, we started this podcast to spread joy, to share our stories, right? You've been sharing other stories from other community members, and this community is just only growing stronger, man.
If people haven't realized, birding has changed both of our lives, and the people that we've met this season, the people that we meet through birding are proof that birds can connect us all and really bring us joy. And we hope that these stories that we've shared over season 3 have brought you all some joy as well.
Yeah, and really, really big love out there to everybody who tuned in, shared an episode, left a comment, sent a message, or if you were able to come birding with us in real life, right, at Biggest Week or at either of our club outings, like just big thanks and love to you all.
Yes. Nothing like meeting the homies in the wild. I say it all the time. That natural habitat, man, it just feels so amazing.
Yes, sir.
But season 3, it may be a wrap, but we are just getting started. We look forward to seeing everybody later in the fall. Until then, please continue to find your bird joy.
Let's go, homie. Let's
go. And as usual, y'all, thank you for joining us this season on the Bird Joy podcast. We hope you have enjoyed exploring the world of birding, nature, STEM, all of the above with us this season. Shout out to my BIPOC flock. I love y'all for real. Stay tuned throughout the fall. There are going to be a bunch of stuff. And even, yes, as we transition to the winter, I know Jason's already counting down the days to fall. How many days is it now?
It's like 73 or 74 days. I'm ready for apple cider donuts, like you said, changing leaf color. I want some unidentifiable fall warbler butts in the trees. Let's go. I want it all.
Let's go.
And until next time, homies, you can find me out looking at fall warbler butts in Color Birding Club, incolourbirding.org. Definitely check us out and come hang out.
I love it. Please share, subscribe, and shout out this podcast and all the previous seasons to all your fellow birders and nature lovers or people you think need to be birding or getting outside a little more. Help us spread a little bird joy.
Peace, homies. Till next season.
Peace.